We need a meet-cute. Like, every great romance has a meet-cute.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're looking at the best of what Netflix has to offer in the romance department. In the interest of keeping things centered, we'll only be considering the streaming service's original content.
When you are in the moment, things just fall into place.
Number 30, The Night Before Christmas.
What do you think of these awesome new threads? They're straight fire.
What happened to Alexa?
I could not make her stop, so I banished her to the night air.
A melding of Christmas and fantasy? Yes, please. Vanessa Hudgens and Josh Whitehouse excel in their roles as a modern-day teacher and a medieval knight.
Might I inquire as to a tub and a cauldron so that I can boil some water for a bath?
How about I just show you the bathroom?
This movie employs all the right rom-com cliches, with its endearing observations of the modern world making it a step up from your typical holiday Hallmark movie.
How is it permissible to call one's friend mom, dad, king, queen, babe, sis, bro, or bae?
While it's not reinventing any movie wheels, it sets out to make you feel all warm and fuzzy inside and certainly delivers. For those of us not yet ready to give up the daydream of being rescued by a knight in shining armor, tonight we feast. Number 29, Irreplaceable You. If you're looking for a feel-good pick-me-up, this probably isn't the one for you. For the rest of us who like a good cry fest, we should definitely add this movie to our watch list.
Come on, just... Abby, let me in.
We've got childhood friends to lovers, an engagement, and a story about what it means to live with a terminal illness. The ending is spoiled within the first few minutes, so the film spends the rest of its time taking us through the motions.
I'd like to cancel my membership to Crunch.
That's so sad. Why?
Because I'm officially dying, so I kind of feel like, why work out?
Though some felt certain plot points and the overarching message could have been expanded on and handled better, Irreplaceable You takes an oddly pleasant approach to an otherwise time-worn plot.
I love you now.
I love you now.
Number 28, A Perfect Pairing.
Go on. Keep going.
To the nothingness. There ain't nothing that I need.
With Victoria Justice at the helm, A Perfect Pairing hits all the rom-com beats, but fear not, it's more naturally acted than your typical Hallmark TV movie.
Oh! Hi!
Can I help you find something? Combination to the safe, maybe?
Yes. No, I'm sorry.
We're whisked away to Australia, where Lola tries to prove herself to a potential client in order to financially secure her startup. Amid the journey, she meets Max, the station boss on her client's sheep farm, who she begins to work with.
Right. That's why you're snooping around her house. Come on.
Not snooping.
Let's go.
Sure.
A Perfect Pairing is as cheesy as they come, so it's a great watch if you're needing something easy and comforting to curl up on the couch to. Number 27, I Am Not an Easy Man.
C'est dangereux, l'amour?
Mais non, mais j'ai pas peur des femmes, moi j'ai pas de problème avec les femmes m'aiment, tout va bien de ce côté-là.
This French film flips the patriarchy inside out, and it is incredible. Damien is chauvinistic, obnoxious, and a total womanizer. So he's the perfect candidate to find himself in an alternate world where women have dominance over pretty much everything.
Pas bien, n'ayez pas peur.
Damien, bonjour.
Ah oui, dis donc, qu'est-ce que vous êtes grand, vous?
Pourquoi, c'est un problème?
Non. Non, c'est bien.
Stereotypical gender roles are definitely played up for laughs, and nearly every facet of the movie is pushed to the extreme. But that's what makes it so great.
T'as les enfants, toi?
Non.
C'est pas trop une souffrance?
C'est mon choix, sinon j'en aurais.
Bah c'est bien, c'est courageux qu'il y ait des mecs comme toi.
Beyond the big feminist theme at its center and how eye-opening it is, the love story between Damien and Alexandra is super fun to watch. Number 26, Love, Wedding, Repeat. Despite lackluster reviews from some critics, Love, Wedding, Repeat does exactly what it promises. It's lighthearted, laugh-out-loud funny, and hopeful. Everything we want out of a rom-com.
She is, okay.
Listen, I'm really sorry. I had no choice. Is that cool?
Is it cool to be sat next to my nightmare of an ex-girlfriend for a whole day?
Look, no, it's fine. It's gonna be fine, okay?
Even though they didn't totally hit it off when they first meet, Jack and his sister's friend Dina don't do anything about it for 3 years. Forced proximity at Jack's sister's wedding has them rekindling, albeit not without some champagne-induced hiccups along the way.
Jack.
Sydney!
I'm a minute back to the hotel. Put some trousers on. Kills too much.
Brilliant! Right, could you just give me a hand for 1 second?
Among hysterical what-if scenarios, witty voiceover, and a couple we love to root for, a lot of this movie's magic comes from the unbridled talent of the cast.
Hey, let's just hope it's only good luck from now, right?
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Number 25, Candy Jar.
Why do you guys take calculus when you're not going to become engineers? Because calculus teaches you to... Whatever it teaches you, doesn't matter.
A charming coming-of-age story, Candy Jar follows Lona and Bennett as they compete for the presidency of their two-person debate club.
Just look at my second chart. More than 2/3 of bachelor's degrees recipients graduated with second credits, just half that number in 1993.
And the evidence previously mentioned, the numbers suggest that we're simply pushing too many kids into college who are not suited for college in the first place. That's what
They're forced to face just how evenly matched they are, and not just when it comes to debate and scholarly ambition. It's the typical rivals finding out they have a lot in common storyline, but the movie's clever writing, brilliant acting, and big twist give it a lot of merit.
You'll take me straight home?
Let me get a number 4 with a large fry and a vanilla shake. Do you want something?
Captivating simplicity is Candy Jar's secret sauce, with the superb chemistry between actors Sammy Gale and Jacob Lattimore winning us over every time. Number 24, Love Per Square Foot. Praised for its groundedness and believability, Love Per Square Foot tells the story of Sanjay Kumar Chaturvedi and Karina D'Souza as they enter a joint housing scheme and do the whole love thing backwards.
लोग पहले प्यार करते हैं, फिर शादी करते हैं, फिर घर खरीदते हैं। हमारी तो बिगिनिंग ही उल्टी हुई ना? पहले घर, फिर शादी और प्यार तो शायद तुमने मुझसे कभी किया ही नहीं।
This Indian Hindi language film excels on several fronts, including pace, direction, and score. Director Anand Tiwari said his goal was to showcase today's India and focus on the idea of, quote, whether home is more important than house.
और मैरिज रजिस्ट्रेशन का डेट अगर 4-6 हफ्ते में जो भी आ जाए ना, उसमें शादी बना डालो। घर लग गया तो फराम इधर से इधर।
The major strong suit in this film has to be its dialogue. It's wonderfully natural and effortlessly delivered by every performer.
Hey Mario, it's 8 o'clock in the morning, man. You got no other work or what?
Number 23, Love at First Sight.
Borrow mine if you want.
Hadley Sullivan and Oliver Jones meet by complete fluke at an airport after Hadley misses her flight. The initial spark alone is entrancing enough, but their initial exchanges afterward make it clear that it's not just about physical attraction.
I'm Oliver, by the way.
As in twist.
And they say Americans are uncultured.
Despite being polar opposite Type A and Type B personalities, they get on really well, and wouldn't you know it, end up sitting right next to each other on the plane. These kinds of connections are rare enough, so when Hadley accidentally loses his contact, the two spend the rest of the movie trying to find each other again. Narrated by Jamila Jamil, this take on trying for something so uncertain totally grips us from the get-go.
Word to the wise. If you have only a 2% chance of finding love in an airport and the boy gives you his number, make sure your phone is properly charged.
Number 22, the Kissing Booth franchise.
But what do you think? Do you think I meant to fall for my brother's best friend?
It is impossible to construct a list of the best Netflix romances without talking about the phenomenon that were these movies. Is it the most refined piece of media around? Definitely not.
You haven't changed. I mean, what is the difference between what just happened?
The difference is you.
You're crazy.
I'm crazy about you, Elle.
But there's something so enticing about Elle and Noah's relationship progression throughout the series. We get all our favorite cliches and tropes in the first movie alone, and it's enough to keep us hooked. Well, that and all the drama.
How bad was I?
You were about to strip on the pool table in front of a bunch of guys and then go skinny dipping. I carried you out before too much came off.
Call it a guilty pleasure, but the Kissing Booth is all mindless fun and hot makeouts, and we are here for it. Number 21, A Jazzman's Blues.
The poets say that all who love are blind. But I'm in love and I know what time it is.
While this movie is about so much more than romantic love, the connection between Bayou and Leanne definitely makes a lasting impression.
You will not ruin this life for us.
Leanne, I love you. Don't go. Don't go!
From the paper plane through his window to the simplicity of the way these two look at each other, their love is sweet and gentle and true. Even across time and space, and despite impossible circumstances, Leanne and Bayou's feelings remain strong, and you start to think that no matter what, they'll always find each other.
How could I do that? My heart only beat for you.
A Jazzman's Blues is not the easiest film to watch, but it is a touching tale rooted in horrifying reality. Number 20, The Half of It.
I like Wim Wenders too. Wouldn't have plagiarized him though.
No, who's Wim Wenders and why'd you cheat off him?
I didn't cheat off of him.
No, I looked up plagiarized.
It's always gratifying when romance movies show just how messy love can be, even young love. High schooler Ellie is roped into helping popular boy Paul win over his crush Aster. The big problem? Aster is also Ellie's crush.
These hallways were murder.
I'm Ellie too.
This love triangle moves in so many different ways as the characters come to know each other better and form close bonds. The Half of It feels rooted in reality as it explores themes of grief, poverty, identity, and tolerance. Aptly cast and well written, this one is a breath of fresh air in a sea of mush and gush.
And if love isn't the effort you put in, then what is it?
Number 19, Nappily Ever After. Based on the novel by Trisha R. Thomas, Nappily Ever After focuses on Violet, a young black woman who's always had a complicated relationship with her hair.
It was an ever-present source of anxiety to prove that I was just as well-groomed as any white child. They would play, hair uncombed, no shoes.
Her perfectionist mother always encouraged her to straighten it, despite how much work it took, and she continued these practices into adulthood. But an incident at a hair salon and the fact that her boyfriend doesn't propose when she expects him to cause her to reevaluate everything. This movie uses Violet's hair as a representation of her inner self and brings us along on her journey to acceptance. Number 18, Falling in Love. If what you're in the market for is a rom-com with a comforting and predictable plot, look no further than 2019's Falling in Love.
Oh, my clothes! Oh, my face mask.
You got a license to have that out in the open road?
I'm so sorry.
You ought to put a leash on that thing.
Okay, I will pay for any of the damages.
Well, this did put a big dent in my ute.
Haha. No need to be inappropriate.
It doesn't try to buck convention or reinvent the wheel, but it gives us a classic romantic comedy plot with a fun twist. Gabriella unexpectedly finds herself the new owner of an inn in New Zealand that needs a little TLC. She's a fish out of water in the charming small-town setting and quickly meets Jake, a contractor who she ends up partnering with despite their confrontational beginnings. This story goes exactly where you expect it to, but hey, that's not always a bad thing.
It's made me happy too. It's the happiest I've been in a long time.
Number 17, All the Bright Places.
What are you doing? Violet Marquis?
Some teen romance movies are frothy and fun, but All the Bright Places, which is based on the novel of the same name, takes a look at some of the darker themes that are present in the lives of teenagers today. Addressing mental health issues, you definitely have to be ready for the emotional punch this movie is packing. Following the love story of Violet and Theodore through a turbulent moment in both of their lives, this film might be heavy, but it's also beautiful and reminds us to appreciate every moment.
I wasn't worried about what would happen if I lived. I was worried about what would happen if I didn't. What I would miss. I worried about not remembering.
Number 16, The Incredible Jessica James.
Have you been on Tinder long, or are you just...
All right, I'm gonna stop you right there because I'm not loving the whole vibe of this interaction so far. And I would literally rather have my period for 1,000 years nonstop than continue this portion of the conversation.
Considering the positive reviews this 2017 film received, we are genuinely surprised it doesn't have more widespread popularity. The Incredible Jessica James, starring Jessica Williams, tells the oh-so-relatable story about two people who come together but who still aren't over their exes. Featuring some familiar faces and situations that every millennial has encountered, you can't help but love it. The titular character of this quirky modern rom-com is magnetic and leaves you wishing this were a half-hour TV show rather than a one-off film so you could just keep binging to your heart's content.
You're a very complicated person.
I know. I'm sorry.
No, don't. You never need to apologize for that. There's so many other things you could apologize for.
Number 15, Happy Anniversary. You may recognize Noelle Wells as the primary love interest from the first season of Master of None, but more recently she was starring in this film.
Morning, beautiful lady.
You're only allowed to say that if you mean it.
I do mean it. I like you like this. No makeup, just you.
Really? Oh.
But your breath smells like cat food.
With an engaging premise and a distinctly indie vibe, Happy Anniversary takes a look at a couple 3 years into their relationship who are deciding whether they should stick it out or call it quits. The film features a series of flashbacks so that viewers get to experience their relationship right along with them as they decide how to move forward.
Maybe Molly and I are just too different. Like, I see the glass of water as half full. She sees the water as poisoned.
Number 14, Let It Snow.
But above all, snow has the power to bring us together. And sometimes, just for a moment, and especially on Christmas Eve, that's exactly what we need.
Released just in time for the 2019 holiday season, Let It Snow is a delightful Christmas movie that feels like Love Actually for a modern teen audience. Featuring a diverse ensemble cast and multiple interweaving storylines, there's no reason this shouldn't become a December classic. There's something for everyone here since the romantic subplots all vary wildly, with other prominent stories about friendship and family included as well. The book that this flick is based on was a collaboration between some of the biggest names in YA literature: Maureen Johnson, John Green, and Lauren Myracle.
Now I want to tell you something. I freaked out about it being you. For me. But it is you.
Number 13, When We First Met. We love a rom-com with a unique and compelling premise.
You know, when you are about to fulfill your destiny, I waited too long, and then I got hugged.
You're so awesome.
In this film, Noah, played by Adam Devine, has a one-night stand with a girl who he totally falls for, but she wants them to be just friends after their initial tryst. Years later, she's engaged to another guy, but he's still harboring feelings for her. He wants to figure out how he managed to mess things up, so he uses time travel to relive their night together over and over again in an attempt to get her to see him differently.
That's all right. How would you know? You ever keep spinning around in the same relationship over and over and it's just going nowhere?
Yeah, I've been in that relationship before.
Number 12, Ali's Wedding. Osama Sami wrote and stars in this film, which he calls the first Muslim rom-com, which debuted on Netflix in 2017.
Come on, Ali, tell us. This is Princess Thing. Let me hear it. There's no man alive smarter than his father.
Maybe only his son. I got 96 also. 0.4.
Ali's Wedding tells the story of a young Muslim man living in Australia who faces extreme pressure from his family to live up to their high expectations and marry the woman who they think is the right match for him. Unfortunately, though, the heart wants what it wants. So even though he's betrothed, he strikes up a romance with someone else. It's a movie unlike anything you've seen before and offers up some diverse representation. Number 11, The Princess Switch. Netflix has kind of cornered the market on schmaltzy holiday movies, and we are not complaining.
Could you be spontaneous for once in your life?
You know I'm not good at spontaneous.
This could put us on the map.
Maybe, but maybe not.
Come on, Stace. I mean, ever since you broke up with Paul, it's like you're scared to do anything different.
With all of the hardships we're facing in the world today, sometimes you just want a rom-com that you know is going to end up with a happily ever after. In The Princess Switch, a champion baker goes to the small, fictional country of Belgravia. She realizes that she looks identical to the Duchess of Montenaro, who is slated to marry the Crown Prince Edward of Belgravia. The two end up switching places, which gives us not one but two adorable love stories to follow.
I'm not very good at dancing.
Well, you know what they say. Practice makes perfect.
Number 10, A Christmas Prince. If you were on the internet in the holiday season of 2017, you undoubtedly heard of this movie.
What do you know about the royal family of Aldovia?
Aldovia? Wait, the king died last year and the prince who's supposed to take over is a total flake.
Flake, international playboy. and scandalous socialite.
A Christmas Prince was the subject of countless articles and blog posts because of its potential to become a cult favorite despite the fact that it was, well, pretty terrible. It seems that the creators of this movie were going for a so bad it's good concept, and they totally pulled it off. If you already saw this one but want to get into the holiday spirit all over again, try Christmas Inheritance, which has a similar vibe. Number 9. Tramps. This definitely isn't your typical romance movie, but that doesn't mean it isn't worth seeing.
Are you the guy?
Yeah. Yeah. You the guy?
Yeah, I'm the girl.
Tramps has 95% on Rotten Tomatoes, and for good reason. It manages to take the story of a crime gone wrong and turn it into a touching romance. Danny and Ellie are both involved in a botched briefcase swap and spend the day together trying to rectify their mistake. They don't expect things to take a romantic turn, and neither does the viewer, but the end result will surprise you with how effective it is.
So what do you think?
About what?
About my mustache.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it looks better with it.
Number 8. Dumplin'. When it was released on Netflix in 2018, Dumplin' was an unexpected delight to viewers.
This must be your daughter. Oh, that's Ellen, my daughter's best friend. This is my daughter, Willadine.
Okay. So nice to meet you both.
So great meeting you too.
With a mix of Dolly Parton, drag queens, and Jennifer Aniston, what more could you want? The plot revolves around Willadine Dixon, who's been given the nickname Dumplin', and her quest to compete in a beauty pageant in her Texas town despite the fact that she's plus-sized. Her mom, played by Aniston, is a former beauty queen herself, and Willadine has to contend with her mother's lack of belief in her. Number 7. Someone Great. One of the best recent films to be created by Netflix is Someone Great, starring Gina Rodriguez and Lakeith Stanfield.
Hey! Go, you saw my story.
What happened? How are you?
Who I gotta kill?
You okay?
We broke up last night, but I'm 100% fine.
Like, we were together for like 9 years, right? Like, and now we're not.
This dramedy feels fresh and modern, taking well-worn tropes of romantic movies and turning them on their heads. The plot takes unexpected twists and turns as the protagonist Jenny tries to get over her longtime boyfriend breaking up with her. She's got 2 friends with storylines of their own to help her along the way. The tone of this flick shifts quickly from over-the-top comedy to something more contemplative, and that's what makes it truly something great.
Blair, how about you get the snacks?
Yeah, totally.
And we'll meet you outside.
Number 6. Us and Them. This high-concept Chinese film earned a perfect rating on Rotten Tomatoes from critics, and will pique your interest as soon as you're introduced to the premise.
Okay.
A young man and woman meet by chance on a train, and viewers watch their relationship ebb and flow over a 10-year period. They're sometimes together and sometimes apart, but regardless of the nature of their relationship, each scene is emotionally evocative and beautifully shot.
如果你觉得当初不能跟你一起过苦日子，那你怎么现在就能认为我愿意跟你过你想要的那种好日子？
Yes, you'll have to read some subtitles, but it's totally worth it. Number 5. Our Souls at Night. Jane Fonda and Robert Redford star in the Netflix adaptation of Kent Harriff's novel Our Souls at Night, which tells the story of 2 elderly people who've lost their spouses.
Hello, Lewis.
Hello, Mr. Moore.
Addie.
Is everything all right?
Can I talk to you about something?
Sure.
May I come in?
Oh, yeah, sure.
They decide to try an arrangement where they share a bed to keep each other company, but don't necessarily sleep together, if you know what we mean. Their unconventional relationship is inevitably questioned by those around them, but viewers get to see the tender and unique bond these 2 share.
I was telling one. Here's another one. You guys remember the one about the guy that started to have sex again?
Number 4. Always Be My Maybe. Sasha and Marcus were best friends as kids growing up in San Francisco, but when they were teenagers, they decided to have sex and it ruined their relationship.
It's cool seeing you laugh.
They are unexpectedly reunited as adults when Sasha has become a famous and super successful chef, while Marcus is still playing in the same band and working with his dad. They seem as though they couldn't be more poorly matched, but there's still chemistry there and they both feel it. If nothing else, watch this movie for the Keanu Reeves cameo, which was one of the best things to happen in 2019.
Oh. Wow. Now I know what it feels like to be completely starstruck.
The only stars that matter are the ones you look at when you dream.
Number 3, Set It Up. Sometimes you just want a good old-fashioned romantic comedy, with all the meet-cutes, witty repartee, and totally predictable scenarios the genre has to offer.
So, buddy, we wanted to shut down the elevator for a few minutes so two people could fall in love.
Set It Up will scratch that itch. Starring Zoe Deutsch and Glenn Powell in the lead roles, and Taye Diggs and Lucy Liu in the supporting roles, you know it's going to be charming from the cast alone. The premise is that two overworked assistants want to set up their bosses in order to make their lives easier. But obviously, not everything goes as planned. You probably know how this one ends, but that's not really what matters.
You are unbelievably bad at beer pong.
You're a sore winner, and you use too many exclamation points.
And yet?
Number 2, Alex Strangelove. We're honestly shocked that more people weren't talking about this teen rom-com when it hit Netflix in 2018.
Sorry for spying. Is that a blue-ringed octopus?
Wow. You know your cephalopods.
It takes a concept that may feel overdone and gives it the modern twist it needs to cater to current teenage audiences. The premise seems simple. Two longtime besties decide they want to lose their virginities together. But Alex begins to question his sexuality after meeting the openly gay Elliot, who is obviously into him. The movie follows Alex as he comes to terms with what he really wants, and it's entertaining every step of the way.
Claire. I'm gay.
What?
I'm gay. You called it.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, To All the Boys I've Loved Before. You probably could have guessed what our number 1 pick was going to be, but we don't mind being a little predictable when it comes to supporting a film like this one. To All the Boys I've Loved Before was the talk of the internet upon its release, and the more views it gets, the more fans it amasses. Based on a novel by Jenny Han, this story is about a girl named Lara Jean whose secret love letters are unintentionally sent to the boys she wrote them about.
You gotta trust. You gonna break my heart, Cubby?
What results is one of the most endearing movies to be released in recent years. Luckily, fans got to see more of Peter and Lara Jean in 2 sequels.
Break my heart into 1,000 pieces. Do whatever you want.
Which movie restored your faith in love? Let us know in the comments.
That's the one. That's Mr. Woofington.
I thought we were gonna call him Donnie.
Yeah, Donnie Woofington, attorney at dog.
He's a lawyer?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.